as if it was ripped straight from the PlayStation 2 disc itself. So keep that in mind, because we're going to loop back to that, and this is the real root of the reason why I'm so pissed off. So I asked, like, how the fuck do you get access to it? All of a sudden I find out that you have to basically suck a dick through a glory hole, remember a secret password, and wait until somebody in a fucking trench coat comes by and tells you the birds fly west at dawn in order to get access to it. Basically what's happening is, in the workshop for Task Force, there's a bunch of secret files that are only set to friends, friend invite only. So nobody has access to it except for this one account called SOCOM Remastered, and the people that they decide to accept and add as friends, which I found fucking weird to begin with. And all of a sudden Riot has access to it, and I add the person as a friend, no response, nothing happens. And I'm asking the community managers, like, how the fuck do you get access to this stuff? And I'm asking them directly, because I know in my heart of hearts that the person who is distributing these files and this workshop content is Redline. Because 4 years ago, I was in a Discord call with this dude, and he's telling me how he has a system and a program that can pull the files straight from SOCOM's disk and turn them into a source engine map for when he was making the mods with SOCOM Source. Now, it's a mod at the time, so they didn't have to worry about any legalities, they weren't distributing it, they weren't making money on it. But when you look at Task Force, you're paying money, no vanilla servers are up, the only servers that are up right now are this stuff running these secret files that if you don't have them in the workshop, you can't fucking play. So literally, it's like a buy to play SOCOM 2 remastered content. And like I said, I know in my heart of hearts that it's fucking Redline doing it, because I remember him showing me the program. He was talking about how hyped he was, about how he can do all this stuff and pull the stuff right from the disc, and he'll be able to make SOCOM maps one-to-one with the scaling and the textures and all that. All of a sudden, this is happening for Task Force, the same project that he's running. And so when we ask the community managers, and they sit there and they play dumb on Twitter, and then when we're trying to get answers and to figure out what's going on, they're instead talking shit to other community members, literally roasting and showing screenshots of conversations with these community members from like 8 months ago. But you can look at the time on them, and it says like, oh yeah, this one was posted 8 hours ago, but I know for a fact that the comments they're referencing was from a conversation like 3 or 4 months ago. So I know that they've been sitting on all of these screenshots of just random conversations with random community members. And they're just wasting their time talking shit on Twitter. So right before my live stream yesterday, I did a sponsored stream. It was really fun, giving away a bunch of keys for a game called Curse of Dead Gods. I see this fucking community manager out here talking about how, oh yeah, man, the game's so fun, can't wait, blah, blah, blah. Just talking about all this stuff. And I just went out and put a tweet, and I was like, yeah, it must be nice to play a game that you actually paid for, right? Or have access. It must be nice to have access to a game you paid for, right? And that's all I said. He responded to me, and then he got into a heated argument with Abel Green and other community members as I'm streaming. I left it at that. Just a little one-off comment. Come back. Abel's game gets deleted from Steam, and they hit him up with an email saying, yeah, just based on our records, we realized that you paid $20 instead of $25 back in the day, so we're revoking that key from you. So Abel essentially gave him $20 for nothing. Now me, they didn't revoke anything from me. That shit would be a no-go, because based on the amount of money that I gave these fucking losers. So they're out there, in my opinion, and this is me, again, I'm about 95% sure that Redline, the owner and main developer of Task Force, is out here ripping files from the PlayStation disc, making SOCOM remastered content and gatekeeping people out of it, so we can't even play the vanilla game because they don't have any servers up to that. They only have a server up to play this random hidden behind a fucking metal door ass fucking content that they're doing, and that they're the ones making it and distributing it. And then when we ask them, they play dumb, say, well, it's not our content, we don't know who it is, but it's just being distributed in a certain, we can't do anything about it. When just based on the history and the conversations I've had with them, I'm pretty fucking sure it's them doing it. If you guys see this game on Steam whenever it launches, and I'm literally going on a campaign now. So you pissed me off, okay? We could have been cordial. I held my tongue before. When you cut ties, when you nuke the Discord, I held my tongue. But just like 3 weeks ago, one of their community managers reaches out to me via Twitter and wants me to kind of talk shit to somebody on the H-Hour team about when do we get our PS4 copies, blah blah blah, talking shit about the Kickstarter. And then we get into a conversation where I tell him basically, hey, I'll go troll them if you ask Redline why he has such a fucking problem with me. And their response was, my suggestion would be humbleness. Regardless of your intention of posting that original screenshot of Red saying, you know, the health problems thing, you shouldn't have done it. You gotta fall on the sword, and this is literally quoted. You guys are seeing the DMs. These guys think there's some sort of like mafia boss where you gotta kiss the fucking ring if you want to have access. And then they say, do you want to be friends with us or do you want to be media? Well, and I'm thinking like I was just trying to be fucking nice. Like, why can't we be both? No, you gotta kiss the ring. You gotta get down to the glory hole. You gotta suck that dick. Just because they're the gatekeepers of this kind of content. Well, I'm here to tell you guys, if you ever see this game, if this game even launches, I imagine Redline is about to have a fucking full-blown meltdown over this shit and close everything up again. But if you guys ever see this game launch, don't fucking buy it. Stay the farthest fuck away from Tracer Interactive, Task Force, and whatever project they come out with in the future. These guys are the absolute worst when it comes to community engagement, community transparency, and community management. Their PR team are a bunch of amateur, know-nothing motherfuckers, and the lead dev is so unstable that I actually don't see this game ever hitting beta, because I feel like eventually he's just going to decide to fucking close the project down. But if you guys do see it, make sure that you never fucking buy anything that these people do. When I ask a simple question and it leads to getting blocked on Twitter, and when Abel asks some questions and gets a little aggressive because he's pissed off that this shit is happening, they revoke his access that they okayed 3 years ago. I remember Abel told me, they're like, yeah, give us $20 and we'll give you a key. Don't worry about it. 3 years ago, and now they're using that against him because he asked why the fuck he can't play the game that he paid for. My name is Big Fry, and honestly, guys, there's a lot of history with SOCOM and developers trying to pull one over on us, and I don't think people realize that this is where I started. My channel started talking about H-Hour and the fucking bullshit that those studio heads tried to pull. So right now, guys, we're coming full circle with a... All right, ladies and gentlemen.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
But there's also something to just the spectacle of Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje just going at it. I mean, like wild 5-round slugfest with no audience.
Do you think that fight would have been different if a crowd was there?
No.
No.
No, I don't think so. Maybe, but I don't think so. It's possible. I think Justin had a game plan, and he executed it brilliantly. And I think Ferguson, I mean, he's always
there's a little drone hole that you probably should shoot through.
Yeah, he's fat.
But
nice.
Nice.
Grappler. You know, he's preparing for Khabib Nurmagomedov, and that fight didn't take place. It was supposed to take place.
How important that castle? Usually you should be able to hit through their shields when they're putting it
By
up.
the way, this is the 5th time that fight was canceled.
Weird enough.
5th time the fight with Tony Khabib
Yeah,
was
that's weird.
canceled. So Tony's been
Because I went up and he started rolling down his mat and I meleeed it, and apparently it hit the mat, not him.
Smashes him. He's trying to. He's thinking of cutting
Dang.
from the bottom. He's thinking
Pretty sure
of
it hit him.
scrambling and getting.
It would, and for some reason it hit his
He's
mat.
fighting an all-American wrestler who does not want to go to the ground, who has nasty striking.
I'm a
So
little-
it's a totally different game plan. And he has to make an adjustment over a period of just a few weeks. And so Justin's fight is, I mean, Justin always fights the same way. So Justin's adjustments weren't nearly as big as Tony's. Tony had to make some big adjustments, but Justin just fought a masterpiece. The way he fought was just magnificent. And he listened to his coaches so well. There's a point during the fight where Trevor Whitman is telling him, you're hitting him too hard, you're swinging for the bleachers, you just take about 10% off your punches, hit him with good, clean shots. And he immediately made that adjustment, and then his cardio leveled out because he was getting tired towards the end of the second. And because he was just throwing just bombs. Every shot he was trying to take Tony Ferguson's head off. But you can't knock Tony out with one shot. He's inhumanly tough. Inhumanly tough. So Justin backs it off a little bit and just is throwing clean shots, and then winds up just dominating him, and then they stop it in the 5th round.
What's the one thing you learned? Like, was there something you took away from this experience that, like, you didn't take away from any other
It
fight?
was interesting. It was interesting. I felt very, very fortunate to be there. I'm like, out of all the people that could be here to watch one of the greatest fights of all time, I felt super fortunate that I was one of those people that got to be there. I felt like real fortunate for that. Like everything about it, I was like taking in the moment and just like really cherishing it. Like, wow, this is amazing. Like, not a lot of people get to do this. Not a lot of people get to experience this. Not a lot of people get to do commentary for the UFC period, but to do commentary for championship fights in this arena where there's no one there. So we're in a 15,000 seat arena and there's maybe 10 people in the audience.
So why did it need an arena that big?
We were talking about that. We were
Yeah,
like, why can't we do this in the? We could have done this in the hotel.
Yeah.
We could have got a conference room, set up an octagon in there, like literally.
Yeah, I was wondering why they did that. But is it a spectacle of having a big arena just to say you did it?
I think there's something to that, to letting everybody know, hey, these are strange times. You know, we're in the middle of this health crisis. So this is the response to this health crisis. We're going to do this shit in this arena.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
All these old boxers coming back. Evander
What do you mean?
Holyfield is coming back now,
What?
too. Yes. Have you seen the Mike Tyson
He's
video?
like 65.
Mike Tyson's coming back.
What?
Yes. You haven't seen? Dude.
No.
Okay. Go to Mike Tyson's page for his most recent video on his Instagram. Get ready for this.
Oh, really?
Get ready for this, because he looks fucking sensational.
What is he, 55?
53.
53.
I think.
Yeah.
I think he's a year older than I am. I'm 52. But he looks fucking incredible.
Really?
Terrifying. Dude,
He
wait.
was so terrible.
But
Was
wait
there
till you see
anything more
this.
exciting than his fights?
They were a cultural event.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean,
so exciting.
the only concern was that you were going to spend money and you weren't going to get it back. Look at this.
Right.
You needed volume so you can hear this too.
Whoa.
I mean, what in the fuck, dude?
Oh, my God.
Dude, he looks like old. I'm back.
I'm back.
You know what's really funny?
Oh, my
He
God.
said on the podcast when he was in here, he said he didn't want to work out again because his ego would get fired up again.
Uh-huh.
And he's actually said that in his post that my ego had been reignited.
Does that mean his
Yeah.
rage?
No, see if you can find it.
That his ego would be...
There's he
Because
said
he's like being zen and doesn't want
yeah,
to...
he gave a statement about it saying that like his ego has been reignited.
Good for him.
Yeah. Oh,
Good for us.
He said something about how the gods of war have brought him out again. It was like really heavy duty
Jeez.
shit. I think it's a real recent.
Wow.
See if you can find the quote, but it was like, oh my god.
When you were with
the
him-
gods of war have reignited my ego,
Oh, my God.
and I'm ready to go again. Yeah, he's
Jeez.
gonna fight.
How do you think he'd fare against a
I think
28-year-old?
I don't know. It depends on the 28-year-old, but I think that you for sure need a guy who's really good at fighting to keep him off you.
Yeah.
Even if you're in your 20s.
Right.
Here, Mike Tyson explains his desire to fight again. I feel unstoppable now. The gods of war have reawakened me. And he said something about his ego firing up. See if you can find that quote.
was
that was
so
one of the things that
deadly.
he actually talked about in the podcast. The gods of war have awakened me. They've reignited my ego and want me to go to war again. Holy shit, that's so terrifying. That's so terrifying.
Oh, that's
Here's
great.
the thing, man. If they don't drug test him,
Uh-huh.
they don't test him for hormones.
Yeah.
Things are way different. The
What do you
main-
mean?
Because if he takes hormones, if he's taking
Right.
testosterone and growth hormone, thyroid hormone, all the things that people do when they take hormone replacement
Right.
therapy, your body functions way better at a way later age. It's different. It's very
Right.
different. So if we're talking about like being a 53-year-old man in 1985, there's no chance.
Right.
Everybody fell apart. Like you'd have
Yeah.
to like be a really, really, really rare person who doesn't take hormones and perform like a 30-year-old when you're
Right.
in your 50s. But when you're on hormones, you can kind of do it.
Can you?
There's like a guy. There's a few guys that were in the UFC. One of the bigger examples is Vitor Belfort. Vitor Belfort, who's a phenomenal fighter, a real legend. He was in the first. He won the first tournament that I ever worked on. That was at UFC 12 in 1997. So he was 19 years old back then.
Okay.
And then when he was in his late 30s, he had a giant resurgence. And it was when they made testosterone replacement therapy legal for fighters.
Oh.
Yeah. So there was a bunch of fighters that got on these testosterone replacement therapy exemptions. And so they're taking testosterone, but they had an old man's brain. But their body moved like a younger man. So it's basically they had all of the experience of a lifetime of fighting, but because of the hormones, their body actually performed like someone way, way younger than them.
Like how much younger do you think?
I don't know. It depends on the body. Depends on what kind of damage you're dealing with.
Right.
Like what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Whether or not it can bring you back 10 years or 5 years or who knows. But
Yeah.
with these fighters, the thing is they were never really out of shape. And some of them, there's quite a few of them, in fact. And I'm not going to name any names, but some of them needed those hormones because they had done steroids. So when you do steroids, it shuts down your endocrine system. Your endocrine system doesn't make proper hormones anymore. And so they needed, it was a real weird sort of conundrum because everyone was kind of knew this, but there was a weird loophole that went on for a few years. It was a real gray area in MMA. And so say a fighter could go to the doctor and say, hey, I want to get a blood test and see what my testosterone levels are because I am feeling very tired.
Right.
And they look at it and they test. They go, oh, look at this. Your testosterone levels are low. You could take this hormone and inject it into your body every week. Now you're eligible for testosterone replacement therapy.
Right.
But the thing is, they might have, like, the whole reason why they needed it in the first place might have been that they were using it illegally. So it's a weird thing you're rewarding because the testing wasn't very good. And some of these guys that are a part of this, were a part of this testosterone replacement therapy thing, they were ones that were kind of accused of possibly using performance-enhancing drugs in the past. So then they get to use them legally. And Vitor, dude, I'm telling you, everyone in the MMA community would talk about TRT Vitor. TRT Vitor was a guy who was in his 30s. He'd been fighting a long fucking time. But all of a sudden, he was moving like a demon again. And just smashing people. You ever see him fight?
No.
Do me a favor. Pull up Vitor Belfort versus Luke Rockhold. Because that was one of the perfect examples. And they're fighting, I don't know if it was in Brazil or what. But Vitor had muscles on his teeth when he was weighing in for that fight.
Oh, my God.
It was crazy. And he just blitzkrieged
And
Luke
it was okay to
Rockhold.
do.
It was legal. What he was doing was legal.
It
was, and then it took a while before everybody went, hey, what
Hold
the fuck?
on a
What's
minute.
going on? This is not, we can't do this. And so then the UFC went the whole other way, and they brought in USADA. And the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency now handles everything, and they randomly test fighters in the middle of the night, and people get popped for stuff all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're really strict, man.
Do you think
Calvin
they should be?
Gastelum just got popped for marijuana. They have a pretty liberal range. It's a pretty generous range that you can have. So watch this. First of all, look at Vitor. He's the one in the red. Just fucking
Just a rock.
shredded. Now watch this wheel kick. Check this out. Set it up. Bang!
Ooh.
Dude, fucking Vitor, when he was on the TRT, was one of the scariest guys that ever lived.
Up into his traps.
Yeah, look at him.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, dudes avoided the fuck out of him. Look at this wheel kick.
Oh, God.
Dude.
It's like a pit bull.
Oh, my goodness. He looked like a demon. He looked like a demon back there. There's a few of his fights from that era, that were just absolutely terrifying.
Do you think that it should be that strict against these drugs in the fighting? It should,
Yes. It's because it's competition.
Keep it pure,
It's not for your health. I mean,
Right.
I take testosterone replacement. I think for your health, it's a good move when you get older. It
Right.
makes your body work better. But for fighting, there's a weird gray area. Like, when should it be legal?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to let people take it after they're 45?
Right.
Are you gonna... My point is, if they don't test Tyson and Holyfield and all these guys for testosterone replacement and growth, we might see some crazy shit.
We might see some great fights.
He's a
Some
perfect
fun pay-per-view.
I do not know. Maybe he's not on anything, and maybe he's just a special athlete.
Right.
Lord knows Herschel Walker was. Herschel Walker was a guy who fought in Strike Force after he played in the NFL and was really successful. It was terrifying. Like, people were avoiding him.
Yeah.
People that were like lifelong martial artists, like, fuck that guy, because he was a super athlete. And obviously Mike Tyson was a super athlete when he was young.
Oh, my God.
No one, when they're 20, usually can move like that. And here he is, 53, moving like a world champ, throwing bombs. Again, it's only on the pads. We don't know what happens if he spars.
Right.
But
still.
But you have to
You're like the praying mantis. If he makes the first move,
you have to,
he's going to rip your head off.
You have to look at that and go, look. Let's not get crazy. Look how fast he's going.
I know.
Look how scary he is. That's what makes us think of Mike Tyson when he was in his prime.
Oh, when he'd come out, no socks.
Oh, my God.
Just those leathers.
Dude, my favorite ever was the Marvis Frazier fight, because it was really like an execution.
Yeah.
It was Marvis Frazier also was like a really good fighter, and he was Joe Frazier's son. And you knew what was going to happen.
In like
Tyson was
20 seconds.
Tyson was just, he was a different thing.
Yeah.
Man.
He just
It was
came
a different
into the
thing.
ring.
We
Yeah.
had never seen a boxer like him before, where it was just like every fight was an execution.
It was brutal. No frills, no nothing, no robe.
No sock most of the time. I mean, no socks, no robe most of the time.
Yep. Just coming to the ring.
Sometimes he had a towel around his neck. Sometimes he didn't even have that.
God, he wasn't going to be there long.
No, man. He was, and you would see the look in the guy's eyes when they would see him across the ring, like, oh my God, what the fuck did I sign up for?
So exciting. When you were with him, when he was here, do you feel like this is still a menacing physical guy, or did you feel like...
Well, he's real nice.
Yeah, I know
he's a real nice guy, but he's still...
But does he still have that, guys that were tough in their youth, you still feel that thing.
Oh, yeah, but he's terrifying. Yeah. Who said it best? What was the UFC fighter that was saying, like, it's like hanging out with a... Oh, was it Kevin Lee? I think it was Kevin Lee.
Yeah.
It was Kevin. It sounds like something Kevin would say. It's like, he goes, it's like you're next to a lion. He's like, and he's like, oh yeah, that's Mike Tyson. Like that way to describe it is the perfect way to describe being around him. Like, perfect. You just want him to like you.
Right.
You want to be nice to him, and you also
be cool.
And you can't believe he's here.
Yeah.
You know he's here. It's
it's like a mythical figure sitting next to you.
Dude, he asked me about fighting. Like, what did I ever do? And I've never felt more like a fraud in my life. Just tell him about the stupid shit that I've done. I did a little Taekwondo tournaments and had a couple kickboxing fights. Like, felt like such a bitch. I could feel it.
Yeah,
I could feel it in the air.
That's
like,
the worst.
He's a cultural icon.
Yeah.
If you stop and think about it, like from our generation, like to be around him is like, what? Are you a real thing? You're right here.
It's like being with Thor or Zeus.
A short training clip of Mike Tyson that went viral, and according to trainer Rafael Cordero, who was catching the former champ's punches, the iconic heavyweight still has some fight left in him. He's 53. Cordero believes that within 6 months, Tyson could make a successful comeback as a boxer. First Take is about 10 minutes away, and here's Max Kellerman. I'm trying to read the wry smile on your face here, Max, and I can't do it. What do you think of the potential of a comeback from Mike Tyson?
Not a real comeback, Mike. Not against top heavyweights. That's not going to happen for a bunch of reasons. Number one, Mike is 53 years old. Yes, he's still fast and he hits hard, but not nearly as fast or hard-hitting as he was when he was a young man. And the reason it's hard to tell is because at that level, it still looks fast and powerful compared to most everybody else in the world, which is true, but not compared to the top heavyweights, who are now 30 and 40 pounds bigger than when Mike Tyson fought. 15 years ago, Greeny, Mike Tyson lost to Kevin McBride, who went on to lose. McBride lost 6 of his next 8 fights because he started fighting better competition once he beat Tyson. 6 of his next 8. And Tyson was coming off a loss when he lost to McBride. That was 15 years ago. So the way this, remember when Jim Palmer wanted to make a comeback? And it was like, Jim, you didn't retire because you chose. You retired because you couldn't get guys out anymore like you used to, especially. So why all these years later do you think you're going to come back? It's because you can't do the fastball the same way. That's the kind of situation this is. But to Mike Tyson's great credit, and you have to measure people by the distance traveled. From where Mike